Today, we will dig into one of the most powerful tools for driving business success. It might be a tool you haven't thought about too much, but you should. Your company's unique value story. Every great business has a story to tell, one that sets it apart, resonates with customers, and defines its place in the market. But crafting that story in a way that truly stands out can be a challenge, but it can be done. And to talk about this and to introduce this concept to you, I'm pleased to welcome Jeff Carmon, a business coach and frequent guest on Straight Talk. Jeff, good to see you.
Good to see you as well, Jeff. Hope you're staying warm.
It's a little tough in the middle of winter, so those watching probably understand it's a cold one, but
Yeah, yeah,
we're inside. We're inside.
yeah, that's right.
So let's talk about this, Jeff. This storytelling, crafting a story to help with marketing and landing the best clients. So here's an easy lob to you. You
Mhm.
ready to catch it?
Yep.
Okay. What does a unique value story look like, and how important is today's topic for those watching?
So you said the operative word, and it is a story, and that's what we need to think about as we talk about this today. And what it looks like is it's a short story, if you will, of the value of the unique value and value, unique and value are the key, unique value that your company can provide to a customer. And this is extremely important in all of our businesses in the janitorial services business because there are so many players in our industry. We're in a very crowded environment where there's lots of companies, and in a lot of cases, we all sound the same. And so this is a really important topic.
You know, that sounding the same is what I was thinking about too, because it seems like a lot of companies use the same terms, the same marketing, all that. But let's drill in on this. What elements should business leaders focus on when developing their unique value story? Can you talk about that?
Yeah, so when you're putting a story together, just like if you were telling somebody a story, you need to think along those lines of how you do that. And so the first thing is you want to have a central message. So a lot of times when we get to talking about stories, that will take a lot of different angles. So we want to have a central message. In the story, we're going to have characters. So Donald Miller has a story brand framework where he talks about the characters as in the customer is the hero and the company is the guide that helps guide that person through. There's going to be conflict or there's going to be a problem. So in our particular case, we want to talk about the problems that our customers are experiencing. We're going to talk about emotion. We want to bring emotion into the story, whether that's frustration or joy or happiness, those kinds of things. And then lastly, we want to bring in a resolution to that story. So all of these elements go into a really good, unique value story.
Marketing, the spin we put on things can sound like marketing, like a commercial. What do you
Right.
recommend a company do to ensure their unique value story is genuine and avoid sounding overly promotional or generic?
Yeah, and that's good information, or that's good advice to do. So a couple of things is the first is to remember it's a story. It's not a mission statement. It's not a corporate statement. This has to be a story that flows, that people can resonate with. And the second thing is to always remember that the central person in this story is the customer. And so I can kind of roll off a unique value, an example of a unique value story that would go something like this. It would say, you have enough to worry about without wondering if your cleaning is done right. Complaints and interruptions can distract your day and cause you stress when you leave at night. So that's why we built a reliable system to take care of the things that generate the most complaints and make it easy to report concerns to us when they arise. So this frees you up to focus on your work and allows you to leave each day knowing that the building will be clean when you come in each morning.
So focus on the customer and you're solving pain points, it sounds like.
That's right. That's
Mhm.
right. Yes.
Okay, so I see the value for the marketing and the customer is going to appreciate that kind of message. And that's just one example. You could have many. You could have many, couldn't you?
That's correct. You can
Mhm.
and again, all of these, if you think about the elements that I talked about previously, all of those elements came in. We talked about the characters. We had conflict and we had a resolution. The resolution was we're gonna do the things that give you peace of mind, that reduces your distractions and reduces your anxiety.
Okay, so the customer reads that, they value it, it leads to good things. Now, here's another angle I want to get into. Your team, those doing the work, they see this, they read this, they know this. What does this do for them? Company culture. Is there a residual there that's beneficial?
Yeah, absolutely. And you think about this, all companies, all good brands have a really good customer value story or customer unique customer value story. So you think of a company like Apple. I mean, Apple has is the most valuable brand in the world, and everything about their value statement flows through the way that they the way that they create products, the way that they set up service. If you go into an Apple store, you know that they want to make things easy for the customer and they want their products to interact. And so, yes, as janitorial companies, when we say these things, it it promotes customer value. And I think most people want to work for companies that do things well for customers.
Now, Jeff, you mentioned Apple. I don't think there's any cleaning company watching this program that has the budget they have for marketing. So,
No, that's right.
so what can you share with us as far as best practices to use this concept in their marketing and their sales, maybe even daily operations?
Yeah, and I think I'll go back to what we talked about, and you mentioned it earlier. So we want this to always all everything about this unique value story. It needs to be conversational. It needs to make sense. It doesn't need to sound like something you're going to plaster on the wall like your mission statement. And so I would encourage people to use this story in a lot of different places. And so as a salesperson, if you have a salesperson, having them to be able to do this story kind of in a conversational manner, I think it's appropriate to put it on marketing material and on your website. And then I think even coming up with slogans related to that. So I've not stayed at the Ritz-Carlton very much at all. I don't think I've ever stayed at the Ritz-Carlton, but they have a little motto or a little slogan that says, "We're ladies and gentlemen serving ladies and gentlemen." And so I think you could kind of come up with a slogan that comes out of this story, maybe like focus on revenue, not restrooms. And so something like that that just resonates with people that makes the story real.
Focus on revenue, not restrooms. That's a good one.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the Ritz-Carlton one, I've heard that before, so very easy to understand how powerful that can be.
That's right. And
Yeah.
everything kind of flows out of that.
Hmm. All right, Jeff, we're about out of time. Any final thoughts or some advice you'd like to close with?
Uh, I guess I'd leave with this one piece of advice is coming up with this value story. It can be a challenge. I mean, it requires you and your leaders to come together and think through and understand what the customer values and what you're doing as a company to deliver that value. And then once you've put that together, it's really important to make sure that you can deliver on that promise or deliver on that story.